The year is 1939. Moonlight Serenade by Glenn Miller is rising the charts. But in an edit studio in Hollywood, California, Blanche Sewell is she's staring at reels and reels of film, trying to figure out how to make this movie she's editing sync with an album that hasn't even been written yet. But also, concurrently, the year is 1972. Song Blue by Neil Diamond is burning up the charts, and in a little recording studio, four lovable lads are tuning their guitars, getting ready to make an album that syncs with, well, it's up to them to decide. And the year is 2022. As It Was by Harry Styles is burning up the charts. And in two separate cupboards across New Zealand, two foolish boys have done the most research possible. 99 films have been watched with Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd playing. And now they've come to this, the final boss. Will it sync with Dark Side of the Moon? These three timelines are all interweaving, and when three timelines interweave, there's only one way you can greet all three. Hello, 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 and welcome to Sync Floyd, the podcast where we watch every movie ever made to see if it syncs up with Pink Floyd's 1973 magnum opus, The Dark Side of the Moon. My name is Gareth Blackler, and he puts the ape in apricot. Please welcome James Barron. Hello, James.
Hi, Gareth. What a wonderful intro. My goodness. Oh, I've got nothing to come up with that. That's just, I was floored. I had something self-deprecating and stupid that I was going to say, and I'm throwing it aside because it's the 100th movie, Gareth. It's a cause for celebration. And we're going to be covering one of the most important movies in the canon of cinema history, but also in the canon of syncing with film. This is the benchmark. This is like, I feel like I'm at the Oscars announcing the winners on the podcast. This is it. This is the one that everyone says syncs with Pink Floyd's magnum opus, the 1973 Dark Side of the Moon. We've got it. We're doing it. This is the one.
This is the movie that is the reason this podcast exists. Like, this
for the season.
Yeah, this is the movie probably that has influenced almost every other movie that we've covered.
Yeah, probably.
And
except for maybe Trip to the Moon.
Yeah. But then again, the book was 40 years older than the movie, so who's to say?
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's all happening. It's Dark Side of the Moon, The Wizard of Oz, Dark Side of the Rainbow, as the fans call it.
Yeah.
The pressure's on. How are you feeling, James?
I'm feeling good. Feeling quietly confident about the recording and the podcast where I'm at. I feel like I have been well prepared over the last 99 films for covering this off. I've never been more researched for anything in my whole life, I've got to say.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, feeling good. Feeling like pre-game here. I'm doing pretty good. Put me in, coach, is what I'm yelling. How about yourself? Are you confident, Gareth?
I mean, yeah, I think it's like you said, this is what I've been training for. I'm as confident as I think I can be.
It's the Super Bowl.
There's only one thing to be done, and that is to go scene by scene, talking about how we found it. With movie on mute, album on loud. And as we do whenever we reach a movie, is I've got to know, what's your relationship with with Wizard of Oz?
The Dark Side of the Moon, checking in? Well, I've got this podcast. Wizard of Oz it's an all-timer. I think for like most English speakers on Earth, like this movie is very well regarded and very well remembered. Definitely a childhood movie for me growing up. I have no idea when I saw it. I was definitely young, a child, a youth, Gareth, when I saw The Wizard of Oz. It's good. It holds up real well, this movie.
It does, actually, yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't know. When did you first see it?
I mean, you can't... It's like Star Wars. It's like you can't actually have first seen it. It's just always been in your memory. Unless you've actively tried not to see it. Yeah, I don't think I sat down to watch it until I saw it at the Hollywood Cinema in Auckland a few years ago. Like, actually went to an afternoon screening, which was so nice to give it your full attention and get all the, like, big screen kind of magic that's happening.
Yeah.
But I realise now on this rewatch, I must have been late to that and, like, must have also been, as a kid, not very interested in the black and white stuff, because there's a lot of that I thoroughly enjoyed on this rewatch, but did not remember. Well, sorry, I do have to point out my rewatch was on a train on my laptop.
What?
For this episode. Not my synced watch, but my pre-syncing rewatch. I was on the Auckland public transport just watching Wizard of Oz just alone on my headphones.
Wow.
And, like, I don't fit very well in those chairs, so I was really hunched over, and I was wearing a denim jacket that makes my arms look huge. So I looked like this big man watching his Wizard of Oz. And they were giving out free yogurt on the train, which they weren't giving out free spoons.
What goes on in Auckland?
Auckland's different, man. Auckland's over the rainbow.
I go there and I see colour for the first time, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, free bottles of yogurt, no spoon, and bottles of yogurt, notoriously, you can't put in a bag or it'll explode.
Oh.
So I just had a yogurt resting on my laptop, just watching this perfect film.
I love that. It sounds like it's your, like, pre-workout routine. You're like, just crush some Oz, crush some yog, and then hit the gym, hit the weights.
They call me the Tin Man because I lift so much tin.
Damn, got him. Oh man, that's fantastic. I love that.
What a trip. Yeah. What a literal trip home from work.
Yeah, and what a trip this movie was. Just in terms of the experience of syncing it, it was the pressure was on for watching this for the show, seeing if catching all the syncs that I could, and I definitely wanted to get it right. Didn't want to screw anything up and like misalign things. You're like, or something happening. So yes, I did this in the privacy of my own home. Album up loud, movie on mute, etc. And yeah, I'm ready to talk about it. Should we dive into the true impetus for the podcast, the Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, I do need to say, like, not only this is a highest pressure episode, but we are helped a lot because other people in the world have done this, and I've looked into other people's what they think are syncs.
Oh, really?
And it's a lot like this is like our Avengers Infinity War that we've teamed up with some pretty unlikely characters. I went on deviantart.com, a name I haven't heard in many years.
Yeah.
And a user called umagic65 has posted what they think all the syncs are.
Cool.
So it's a lot like, we've had to break a very interesting character out of prison or something to join us.
Bizarre guest from beyond the pale coming in.
Yeah.
Doing a phone interview with us, man.
But I do also quickly have to point out, umagic65 falls out of sync after the first play, and they're all wrong after the final eclipse. So, yeah.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah.
We're coming in with the definitive edition. So if things don't align, if things are out of sync, you're out of sync. Step
Your
to
Honor,
me.
you're out of sync.
This whole court is out of sync.
How has it taken us that long to get to that?
I don't know. I've done no research into what other people have done. I wanted the pure, honest Pink Floyd experience, and that's what my notes are going to reflect.
Perfect. Good.
AKA me trying to decipher what I've written.
Yes. Yes.
Exciting.
Let's do it.
All right, man.
Let's sync The Wizard of Oz with Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah. Opening titles, speak to me, you know the drill, the whole deal. MGM Lion is roaring in 3 times for us. What a guy. What a lovely man this lion is.
Yeah, second best lion in the film, I'll say.
Oh, yeah. Up there. There's a clear ranking of lions, but this guy shows up first. But there's another lion that's got a few things to say. And yes, we get the opening credits here. In fact, all the credits are at the top, as was the style at the time. And we're in black and white as well, which was, again, the style at the time. This is like one of the first movies released in Technicolor, I believe. I think it was the like showcase of it as a worthwhile financial decision for Hollywood. They were like, this is the use case for Technicolor. Let me show you why it's so cool. This movie also has a dedication, which I didn't know about, dedicating the picture to the young at heart.
Yeah.
Which is capitalized in a strange way, making it sound like Young at Heart is potentially an organization, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah. It's also a weird kind of thing of like, for nearly 40 years, this story has given faithful service. It's kind of like, if you don't like it, it's your fault, because people have liked this for 40 years, bucko.
Yeah. I think it's mostly like, shout outs the book. This movie got a book. Yeah, maybe check that out. If you liked this and you're young at heart, woo, I got a story for you, pal. Yes. Anyway, we get introduced to our main character, Dorothy, as played by Judy Garland, who is like way older than what the character she is playing is, apparently. I think she's like mid 30s or something playing this. I'm not entirely certain.
I'm certain she's 17.
Is she? Hang on, let me work it out.
Yeah, I tried to do the maths, but I'm not surprised if I was wrong.
How old was Judy Garland? Okay, so she was born in 1922, and the movie came out in 1939.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think you're on the money with 17 there.
Phew.
I was dead wrong.
Beloved Pink Floyd segment that has been across every episode. Live maths.
James gets it wrong. Yeah, but she's out here with Toto, the little dog, little terrier dog. That one I'm not getting wrong.
But how old is Toto?
He's a cute wee dude. Oh, he's like 100. He's timeless. He's alive today. He's the only remaining alive cast member.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
The dog. And yeah, they're running along a farm road in Kansas, which is like a painterly background version of Kansas. I feel like most of the stuff is done on like soundstage.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But yeah, they're going to tell the uncle and aunt, Uncle Henry and Auntie M, that Toto has had a run-in with like a nasty neighbor named Elmira Gulch.
Yeah,
which is a fantastic name. Yeah. Like bitten her leg. The dog has, not Dorothy.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're like hanging out here at the farm doing some farm stuff. There's a lot of little newborn chickens coming in and out of this guy's hat, which is very funny. Yeah. And yeah, nothing major syncing up here. I'm already saying we're in mid-breathe, like the vocals of breathe are already kicking in with these people talking, and I'm not hearing none of it.
Yeah.
They're just sort of being, Dorothy's just sort of being blown off and being like, oh, don't worry about it, Which I guess is like, I don't know, maybe that's the vibe of Breathe. Hard to say. But then we've got 3 farmhand lads being introduced, working on the farm, who will become important. Their names are very funny, but they don't really come up very often because their other counterparts are going to be way more important to the story. But they're called Hunk, Hickory, and Zeke. Yeah. Man, even in 1939, I feel like being called Hunk is pretty powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, you had the whole world at your feet being called Hunk, and you chose to be a farmhand.
First name Hunk. And he's like, nah, I'm working on a farm for all my days.
Hunk Dreamsman.
Yeah, he is. He's out here dreaming. Because he's. I think he's the one that advises Dorothy. Is he? Wait, hang on. Oh my god! If I get another thing wrong already, it's going to be terrible.
He's the Scarecrow boy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the Scarecrow. He's advising Dorothy to like use her brain. Gosh, try and outthink the situation here. You don't need to fret about that Elmira Gulch. I do love that they're all like already reflecting their future like items. I don't know. Yeah. They're like penchants. They're things they're going to be asking the wizard for. But yeah. Like Zeke is hanging out like by the little the pig pen, getting all the pigs in line. There's so many animals on this farm. And we go into On the Run as Dorothy falls into the pig pen and Zeke runs in to like rescue her. So like our first like heightened part of the movie is going into On the Run, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, exactly on the change. And she also starts balancing on this little fence before she falls when they're saying balanced on the biggest wave.
Yeah.
Which is a nice little one. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, Zeke is revealed as that he's like just as scared as he's like talking about, get a little courage, see, and that show that Elmira Gulch what for, like that kind of thing. And then he's just as scared of like the pigs that he's dealing with here. I guess pigs can be scary, but like I don't know.
Pigs are terrifying. Isn't it like Snatch where the pigs eat people?
Oh yeah. I feel like that these pigs are very well fed, you know. You've got to like I've seen Snatch a few times and I'm fairly certain that you have to like starve a pig before it's going to like eat a man, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
Like they're not going to do it every day. They're just it's a sometimes food, you know. They'd rather eat just some like yummy carrots and stuff.
Yeah. So keep your pigs fed is the moral here.
That is, that's the moral of the Wizard of Oz, I think.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Keep your pigs fed. Auntie M says that that she should stop worrying about Elmira Gulch and that she should find a place where she can't get into any more trouble. And Dorothy's like, a place where there isn't any trouble. And then she starts singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which is like part of this movie that, again, has like transcended the movie that it's from. I feel like Somewhere Over the Rainbow is just like a song in canon now, you know? People forget that it's even from this movie, I feel like, some of the time.
Well, that ukulele version that blew up like 15 years ago has kind of done a lot of that. Yeah.
A lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah. Did you know they wanted to cut it from the film? They thought it was like spending too much time in the black and white land. And they were like, these 1930s film executives were like, we got to cut that for the kids.
Well,
like imagine a world where they didn't have that.
It would be a tragic loss to the movie for sure. It's a really beautiful song in general. It's like about longing and like wanting a better life for yourself and like wishing for a better future and better place. But yeah, it's perfectly encapsulating where the character's at in this part. But we ain't hearing it. We're having On the Run.
Yeah, same initials, different song.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah,
that's a good sync. I like that. We do get the crash sound over this as well. We're still in On the Run once. I think. Like, just when the song ends is when we go into clocks, right? Like, right at the end of Dorothy's song, the clocks of time are coming in. Yeah. Which is pretty sweet.
It's so good, because they show up for Mrs. Gulch coming back. Like, that made me go like, oh no. Yeah. I think my notes actually say, well, fuck.
Yeah. It is a perfect sync. Like, as soon as the clocks come in, we have a hard cut to her coming in on the bicycle, which is, it's a tasty morsel. And pretty much it is a perfect alignment. Like, there's no question. I feel like this is the first time that when people were like crazy enough to do this, and the first time, this is where they were like, "Oh shit, we're onto something," and then keep going from here.
But if we can put on our expert hats and remind everyone, just calm them down with the cold facts that Groundhog Day has clocks when he wakes up, setting off the plot in the endless time loop.
Very true.
And Iron Man 3 also has clocks when the villain shows up, and both of those got very low overall scores. So, you can't set your clocks to the clocks, folks. That's
you really
one
can't.
of the other morals.
Yeah. It's a notable part of our process here. Not always does it. One sync doesn't make a good overall sync. A blanket of syncs. I don't know. I'm trying to make a metaphor, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, there's something about broken clocks being right twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need them to be right constantly, never stopping.
I need a perfectly accurate clock.
Yeah.
Made by Pink Floyd themselves.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I'll accept. Elmira Gulch is here to take Toto to the sheriff to make sure he's destroyed. She wants to destroy a dog, which is such a horrible thing to say and want.
Yeah.
It's a wild threat to, like, I get that, like, a little dog has bitten you. There's no way that Toto would do enough damage, to warrant being destroyed. He's just a little pup. He gave her, like, really cute little handshake during Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Yeah.
What a guy. I don't want him to be destroyed.
No. In fact, you can't destroy anyone who shakes your hand. That's why people
That's
do
a
it.
rule. Yeah. That's what that means.
Don't destroy me.
Don't destroy me. Pleasure to meet you. Don't destroy me. Arnie M coming in here with the sass. There's a lot of good lines that have already been uttered that we aren't hearing, but this one is one of my favorites, where she says that Toto is very gentle with gentle people. That is, which is it's so good. She is all gas, no brakes against Elmira Gulch, which is really fun. Really clearly hates her. But somehow Elmira has a warrant to take Toto away.
Yeah.
In her little basket on the back of her bicycle. And Dorothy calls her a wicked old witch and then runs off crying because there's nothing that Arnie M or Uncle Henry can do. So she runs off just before we go to the verse of time, right into the lyrics, the first verse coming in. And then we have her not at all holding back and yelling at her, get out of here. But I can't even say it. I'm a good Christian woman.
Yeah, that's a good line too.
Yeah. And then she's taking away Toto in the basket, and he just jumps out the back and runs back to the farm, leaping up through Dorothy's window. Dorothy has this moment of wanting to, she's like, yay, Toto's back. But then she's like, oh no, Elmira is going to be coming back to find you once she finds out that you're gone. And she holds the dog to her chest. And as she does this, she grabs her little suitcase to run away from home. And while this is happening, Pink Floyd sing "No One Told You When to Run, You Missed the Starting Gun," and go into the time solo right when we cut to the next scene of her running, walking down the road, running away from home, which is so good. A really good sync there. Pretty stoked with that.
Yeah.
So we're in the time solo, and she is wandering down the road, and we come across the sign for Professor Marvel, which I assume is some kind of new Marvel franchise coming out soon.
He's one of the Marvels.
Yeah.
Miss Marvel.
He's
on Disney
Doctor
Plus
Strange.
Now.
Meets Miss Marvel. Yeah. Husband of Miss Marvel. Hopefully.
Oh,
Unknown.
congratulations, Miss Marvel.
Congrats.
Yeah, way to go.
Season 2?
I think, wait, no, she's really young, so maybe...
Yeah, I think she's like in high school or something, so I don't actually ship this, Marvel fans. But anyway, she's doing the classic run away and join the circus move. Possibly from this, unknown, if it's like became the cultural zeitgeist that it is from The Wizard of Oz, like running away and joining the circus. I feel like it's one of those ones that's always been around, but I don't know how far back it goes, you know?
Me neither. Yeah. I'll just, like, this invented so much. We'll give it that as well.
Cool. All right, done. Frank Morgan playing Professor Marvel for whatever reason, he's the first person that I'm crediting in my notes, but here he is. He is hanging out here just like roasting a sausage, I guess, like part of the circus, or just he's doing his own thing. I don't know what's going on with him with regard to the rest of the circus. Maybe he's just like a minor like dude who's just out on his own doing fortune tellings and readings. I don't know. Yeah, he's got a lot of like really funny quippy lines about him being like a fake and a phony, basically, pretty clearly from the get-go, which is like letting the audience in on what's going on. But Dorothy's like a young girl from Kansas who has no idea what's going on. And yeah, we look into the magic crystal. And while we're doing this, Dorothy is instructed to like close her eyes, and he's like rummaging through her stuff to get knowledge so that this reading can be accurate. Very good.
Yeah.
And then he's like gives this like reading and talks about Auntie M, who's like worried sick because she's run away from home. So he is doing the like he's being like a liar and a charlatan, but doing it for good reasons. Like lying for a noble purpose, which is like very much his character role throughout the whole movie, which I like that it's again echoed here. Everyone is like plays to the exact archetype that they're going to be later on in the story, which I think is really well done in The Wizard of Oz. One of my favorite parts. Weirdly, like as an adult, these early, because I know where the story is going, these black and white sections are some of my favorites.
This is what I had a great train ride watching these because I pretty much had to get off when the color came in.
Oh, well, there you go. Go like into the real world with all the color. But yeah, he like is telling her to like head home because Auntie M is like heartbroken that she's run away, and as she's like, oh gosh, I don't want that, and then runs off heading back home, and the wind is picking up and stirring, and this is right at the end of time when this happens. She starts running off home, and Pink Floyd sing "Hear the Softly Spoken Magic Spell," and that is another perfect sync here. Like another like end of scene transition going into great gig here for the tornado, which is nuts. Like, can we just like track that? You know, like perfect sync at the beginning and end of this song, and going into great gig for like a really trialsome moment in the movie. Like, ooh, yeah,
because Time in a way is using it's a long song that's pretty much laying down the plot and the themes of the album. So to use it just to kind of lay down some plot and also introduce like some things you're going to call back later, and then cut from that to something that's big and kind of magical and uses a lot of air, like Great Gig in the Sky. Like, what can you do?
You'll need a lot of wind in your pipes to drum up and sing this track. Yeah.
I heard Claire Torrey went outside and just inhaled a tornado and then just walked back in and sung that song.
Put that back into the mic. Yeah. Strength of the twister. Speaking of, the tornado here is in the background, like quite clearly. I don't know. Is it fake? It's got to be fake. It looks crazy. Like it's moving around in such like a scary way.
Yeah, I feel like it's made of stockings or something.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I've never seen a tornado in real life, so I don't really know
No, never.
what they look like. But there's such a horrifying natural phenomenon that it's like I can't imagine what they look like from a distance. You know, like it's just it's crazy, and especially like on this farm, which like tornadoes do happen across Middle America. Like that's a real danger, a real threat, and these. Yeah, they're like getting all the animals locked away and there's scrambling for safety out here on the farm to the tones of Great Gig, which is just such a good vibe, man. It works perfectly. And yeah, Auntie M like is calling out desperately for Dorothy, who's like unaccounted for. She ran off to her room and then disappeared. And so she's very stressed. All the family go down and hide below ground in like what's probably like a tornado shelter that they have for this exact danger, or like potentially like a cellar on the farm. I don't know, but they like lock themselves intentionally in there because they're out of time and they're gonna get hit by the tornado. Yes, Dorothy does get back to the house but finds it empty, and she like panics and runs through the house calling out for Auntie M, who clearly isn't there. They're already locked up tight in the storm bunker or whatever it is. And then, so she just like is hiding in her room with the wind like whipping at her house. And suddenly from behind, the window springs open and knocks her out. And she falls onto her bed right as we get the like more chill part of Great Gig coming in. We've just had the like roaring vocal of what was her name again? Sorry, you said before.
Claire Torrey.
Yeah, just
I hope
pouring over us, and then like into the like more sweet, somber moment right as she's like passed out on the bed. I was like, whoo, damn. And here we go like into our transitional sequence. We see like the house itself spinning around and flying through the air as part of this like delirium. And then Dorothy like awakens and sees things flying past her window with what I think is just like OHP technology. Like legitimately they're like projecting like a footage onto the wall.
Yes, yeah.
But it's a lot of fun stuff. There's like a woman in a rocking chair and a cow and some people in a canoe. Just
yes,
like
I loved them.
Having a good time. They like give a wee wave. And none of this matches with Great Gig.
No.
And finally, Gulch, Elmira Gulch on her bicycle, biking along as if nothing is amiss. And then a like match cut happening in front of her eyes, where she transforms into a witch on a broom. Exactly the same, and is giving out like a terrifying cackle, a witch cackle. Great stuff. Love me a witch, Gareth.
Same, right?
Yeah, man.
Oh, man.
Witches massively underrated in modern culture. I wish there were more witches. I want witches to come back in a big way.
James, I didn't think I'd tell you this on mic, but you're right. They are coming back, especially last time I was in your city of Otatahi, New Zealand, Christchurch, New Zealand.
Yeah.
And look, okay, we've already said the F word. It's a children's film. But,
sorry.
I walked past a sex shop in Christchurch, and all the mannequins were in sexy witch costumes. So witches are back, don't worry.
Hey man, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Sexy witches in my area. Get at me.
Yeah.
Fly your bicycle / broom to my house. Goodness me.
Get my house in your tornado, baby.
Yeah. Take me away.
I turned to our friends when we walked past that and noticed they were witches, and they did not like that I then said, "I'll get you off, my pretties."
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
It is a shame that I wasn't there, Gareth.
Yeah.
Goodness me. Would have loved that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, witches are back, don't worry.
I'm so stoked. I'm stoked to hear that. The house spirals down, and we see Dorothy's bed being like knocked about as it like descends down from the sky and crashing down, not at the end of Great Gig, but near the end of Great Gig.
Yeah.
Importantly, she gets up and opens the front door to the colorful world of Oz, right on the cha-ching of money.
Yeah.
Like the exact moment we get like color creeping onto screen for the first time, we get that cha-ching of money. Don't know what this means as a scene. Potentially like Technicolor costing like too much at the time. But boy howdy does that line.
Side 2 of the album, like side 2 of the film.
Feels so good, that aspect. Yeah. As soon as she like steps out and says we're not in Kansas anymore, I'm like, you are so right. We are on side 2. If you think about the cover of our album here, the Dark Side of the Moon cover with the prism in the middle, with the white on the left, and the rainbow coming out the other side. We are on. If you split it down the middle, and right here we go into side 2 of the album, and Dorothy says we're somewhere over the rainbow. Which, if we look at the album, we're halfway across. We're over the halfway point across the album. We're most likely somewhere over the rainbow. Yeah,
you flip that triangle upside down, and you've got a tornado as well.
It's just
disgusting.
It makes perfect sense, you know. When they were chopping up this film, chopping up the album, they were like, "This is where we put it," you know.
Yeah,
perfect.
Oh man, I also I just want to shout out this shot because the way they did it to go from color to real life was they had Dorothy's stunt double. They painted Dorothy's stunt double, this poor lady, grey. And she's the one who opens the grey door in the grey set, which is all painted. Then she steps back and real Dorothy steps in.
It's like, that would take so much work and makeup.
Right?
Goodness me. And I guess they had a lot of grey paint left over and silver paint for the Tin Man. Maybe that was part of it. They're just using what they had. We aren't in Kansas anymore. We're over the rainbow. It's true. And she's wandering around this beautiful, colorful world, and very strange, very fake, obviously. All the flora and fauna out here are looking very plasticky and set designy. But still
so
very
fake that it's beautiful. It goes back around to be on purpose. Hyper-real.
In a Willy Wonka chocolate factory kind of way. It feels beautiful and magical, but very fabricated in an interesting way. We're out here in Oz, and we got little dudes hiding in the bushes out here with flowers on their heads, and then thankfully Glenda the Good Witch appears via Big Bubble. The good witch transportation method of appearing in a giant bubble, I am on board with. You got the bad witch transportation via bicycles and flying broomsticks, the classics that you know and love. Good witch is invented for this movie, potentially unknown. Appearing in big pink bubbles. She's got a big frilly dress. Thoughts on Glenda the Good Witch, Gareth?
I mean, I don't know. It's worth pointing out now that obviously Wizard of Oz went many, many different directions after this classic film. One such way was to the musical Wicked, which I know very little about. I know what was talked about in season 1 of Glee, and I worked in an office with a big poster of Wicked, but that's about it. So I feel like she's not as cool and chill in Wicked once you kind of hear everyone's side of the story.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Based on this, I think she seems pretty cool. She seems like a nice witch.
Yeah, I don't know. Her opening question to Dorothy is that she's like, are you a good witch or a bad witch? And it's Can't there be an in-between?
Aww.
Shades of grey. Glenda.
Yeah. In fact, it's probably this dogma of good witches and bad witches that have led there to be these two wicked witches, you know?
Exactly. Just depression, man. That's the two-party system doesn't work, even in Oz.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah.
So criticism of democracy. No. I'm sure it's not.
Well, imagine you're a witch and you see there's already two good witches and there's an opening. You know, there's only 4 directions. You can't be the southwest witch of the medium.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You've already opened up a new opening by dropping your house on the Wicked Witch of the East.
Yeah.
Which is what we get the reveal of. It's like, oh, I assumed you were a witch because you've just killed someone accidentally.
Murder. Very witchy.
Very witchy. Witchy move. But yeah, the Wicked Witch of the East, we do only ever see her feet. She's got these like striped socks and ruby red slippers. Cool. But like that on its own, I know this witch had a great look.
Yeah.
You know, like under that house, she's looking fire.
Yeah. What are we thinking is the outfit? Like red shoes, striped socks.
I think she's hot topic from top to bottom. You know, like she is just this like scene kid witch. That is just like, she's looking great.
There's like a tutu and a My Chemical Romance t-shirt.
Exactly. Yeah. Glenda hates it. She says that only bad witches are ugly, which is harsh stuff. It's quite the read. Don't speak ill of the dead, Glenda. God.
Exactly. Not a very good witch kind of thing to do.
I don't think so. But yeah, we're in the money solo now. We get into that as the Munchkins come out to say they like try and explain what happened here through song, as is the Munchkin custom. They do a lot of singing in Munchkin Land, which is where we find ourselves. Which is just like a town of little dudes, little friends out here.
I feel like the witch, it makes sense that she was wicked when like all your people that you rule over are doing is rehearsing this incredibly complicated song about how happy they are you're dead.
That you're dead, yeah.
Like this is not a first take once you get the Lollipop Guild stepping around and all the like difficult time signature changes and like hard to sing little pitter-patters. Like, this is weeks and weeks.
This is a crazy complex song with, like, it goes on for a really long time, much like Money. It's a really, there's lots of, like, incidental characters coming in.
Yeah.
We get this one guy coming up that says, "You killed her so completely, so we thank you very sweetly." Which is like, wow, okay. They do things different in Munchkin Land. But the song itself is called Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead. Just a wild song about a murder. But anyway.
I love it so much for the term ding dong.
Yeah.
Like, just the news. Ding dong. Chips for lunch.
Which old witch? The Wicked Witch. They're like just dancing around their square of their town with Dorothy in like a little carriage being pulled by I think just other munchkins or potentially like a miniature horse. I think.
I can't remember.
A munchkin horse. And this is happening at the away at the end of Money. And then we get into the like representatives of the mayor's office and things as we get into Us and Them, doing like a full surveying of the scene. They want to make for sure that the witch is dead. We get like a miniature coroner reading a death certificate.
Yeah.
Which is so bizarre. He's like, she's not only merely dead, she's really most sincerely dead. And then they're like going around and waking up other members of the town. There are like people, I think the Lullaby League here just sleep in giant eggs. That's their whole deal. Like their main job is to emerge from a like enormous chicken's egg.
Yeah.
And otherwise sleep in it in full like baby frock and gown.
Yeah.
Quite the gig. Quite the great gig in the sky, Gareth.
There we go.
Yeah. We've got the Lullaby League coming out of their eggs to give us a special thanks on behalf of their organization. And then the three buff and burly boys from the Lollipop Guild appear. And they also give their specific thanks. And they're like both welcoming Dorothy to the land of Oz. That's like their whole deal. They're just like clubs you can join, I think, maybe. Are you team Lullaby League or Lollipop Guild, Gareth?
It's gotta be Lullaby League. Like, I have a bunch of lollipops in the house, haven't eaten them, like, and they've been there since we moved, so...
Wow.
Yeah, Lullaby League. What about you?
I think I'm Lullaby League as well, but maybe just because, like, I feel like it would be a good time sleeping in a giant egg. You know? Just relaxing. Taking my time off. That's my job. That's my gig. I like it.
Yeah.
They all the Munchkins are singing about how from now on you'll be history. You'll be history. And yeah, they say that she'll be a bust in the Hall of Fame. But their song is interrupted by the Wicked Witch of the West appearing.
Yes.
Who has a startling resemblance to Elmira Gulch. And yeah, she's here to see what's going on here in Munchkin Land. She's heard the kerfuffle from the west. It's come all the way over to the east. And yeah, she's here to claim the magic slippers, the ruby slippers of the dead witch. But Glenda magics them onto Dorothy's feet before she can.
Yeah.
And in doing so, the feet of the Wicked Witch of the East like coil under the house, like, and they're great. They look like they're out of Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
those feet out of nowhere.
100%.
Yeah. And yeah, the witch swears vengeance. She's like, "I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too." And yeah, but she has no power in Munchkin Land. It's not her domain, her witchly domain. She's got no magics here. And so, yeah, she has to disappear again. I love that she appears in a cloud of red smoke, but then when she leaves, the red smoke starts and she has to like get into it so that she can leave. Which is great. It feels like an elevator opening or something. She's got to like get in the smoke in order to get away. I like that a lot.
Like, it's probably entirely based on like real world special effect logistics, but it does just invite a world where like there's specific rules to your red smoke and you've got to be in it, and then it appears in the place you're going. Like, I'm liking it. I feel like you could write a good
to win it.
pocketbook sized rules of smoke. And sell that for like a charity.
Of smoke. That sounds like a practical effects guidebook. Rules of smoke.
Oh man, I think any book called Rules of Smoke would like be
sell
number one.
Well.
Yeah,
by John Grisham.
Yes. Oh man, can we get Bill Clinton to help him as well? I love that he's doing that.
Get him involved.
Yeah,
get Bill on the horn. What's he doing? Oh my gosh. So we do get the short, sharp shock little interlude here. As all the Munchkins get back up after this interruption. They've had a bit of a short, sharp shock.
Aww.
In this moment. The Lullaby League won't sleep for weeks.
Yeah.
And yeah, they've got... so Dorothy's like, okay, I've got to get out of Oz. It's dangerous here. There's wicked witches after me. She's plotted to kill me. For this accidental homicide that I've committed. But the only way to get out, nobody knows how to leave Oz except for the Great Wizard of Oz. How do you get there, Gareth? You follow the yellow brick road.
You follow the yellow brick road.
There you go. which spirals out from the center of town. There's also like an interlocking red brick road, which I would love to know where that leads.
Oh, mate.
Never explained.
No.
Yeah. Just
That's
as a
wild
counterpoint.
there.
Yeah. It circumnavigates Oz the opposite direction, for all we know.
Oh, man. Taking you to, like, Zoe, the opposite of Oz.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No one should go there. Oh. You've got the magnetic witches that live out there on the poles.
Oh, yeah. Or they go, like, up and down and left and right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a very brave kitten instead of a cowardly lion. There's a man tin. He's just really small and he's full of lentils.
Oh.
Like a tin.
That's a nice
and
man.
there's a scared crow. Shit, I think we're onto something. I'm writing this down.
The scared crow.
Yeah.
He keeps getting scared by all the scarecrows out in the fields. He just wants to get some... He's going to see the wizard to go get some corn.
Yeah.
He's very hungry. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Anyway, we start following the yellow brick road. This is a great line from Glenda who says it's always best to start at the beginning, which is true. Yeah, she does her like whole fading out move back into her bubble as we go back into the us and them vocal outside of the solo there. We had like the saxophone solo and us and them play. And yeah, we go down the yellow brick road with everybody following along behind, leaving Munchkin Land with Pink Floyd singing "Out of the Way, It's a Busy Day."
Yeah.
You know? Get out of the way, Munchkins. We've got a busy day ahead of traveling down this yellow brick road. And yeah, waving goodbye and going into Any Color You Like, right as we transition to the crossroads scene with the scarecrow. Yeah. So another like perfect sync out of a song, which I'm very happy with. And yeah, we got the scarecrow here. He's like introduced doing the whole pointing in two different directions move. Love that. And yeah, like doing like ventriloquism as well. So we don't know what his deal is at all. And yeah, he is played by Ray Bolger. I didn't go over this at the start for whatever reason. But each of the three guys here, the three traveling companions, are like big vaudevillains and actors and dancers and singers in their own right before this movie. They're like huge deal, especially Ray Bolger. I'm pretty sure he was like massively popular like before this movie. He's the most like physically active of the three, I think.
For sure. I think he was originally cast for the Tin Man and he was like, guys, look at me move. I have to be the Scarecrow.
You seen these spindly arms? I've got to be Scarecrow. Come on. He's just such a sweetie as well. Yeah. He's out here. He's saying he doesn't have a brain. He's only got straw. And he needs to go... He wishes he could be of help, but he doesn't have a brain to think of the answer. There's a really great line where Dorothy's like, "You talk a lot for someone without a brain," and he says, "Some people without brains do an awful lot of talking." It's like, damn, great line, great read.
Timeless zingers.
Yeah,
Scarecrow.
Never been truer. But yeah, Dorothy unties him, and then they just like hanging out, and he sings a wee song. After he provably can't even scare crows. A crow just appears and like hangs out with them. For a little bit.
How would you scare a crow, James?
I don't know if I could. Crows are like really big and tough. Yeah. They're not like raven big, but they're like tough guys. You know, in New Zealand we don't really have crows. We've got like magpies. I would say would be the closest equivalent. And those guys, fucking buff boys, you know?
Yeah,
you
they're
don't
brave,
really,
eh?
yeah, they're brave boys. They're like Cowardly Lion? No. Never heard of him. Yeah, they're tough. So I don't know how I'd scare a crow. I'd just try and make myself look big, I guess. The classic, like, stand on my hind legs like a bear move. Like a human pretending to be a bear.
Yeah, get down on all fours, say I'm a bear. The crow will go, oh, that's a bear. Get up back on hind legs and be like, oh, no,
Psych.
bears can't do that.
Now I'm a big tough bear.
Yeah.
Oh, no. How would you scare a crow?
I'll definitely, to scare a magpie, because they love shiny things, is I'd give it $1, and then I'd play Money by Pink Floyd, and it'll be scared of all the, like, bad things money can do, and it'll leave my corn alone.
Damn, got him.
Yeah.
Got him thinking about commerce. Oh, you awaken a new truth in the crow to scare it. That's the real scare. Capitalism.
In fact, that's all I have is my corn and a big sign that says capitalism.
That's good enough, I think.
Yeah.
Corn for sale? And then the crow's like, what?
No!
So we go into like a reprised song where the scarecrow sings about if I only had a brain, as we go into brain damage, which is sick.
Yeah.
For his song, we're having Pink Floyd's song about having a brain. Huzzah. But yeah, all of these little like vignette kind of songs have really great lyrics. They're really, really funny. Fun little songs. And yeah, it's just like it's the same song 3 times for each of these 3 characters, which I like tying them together. And yeah, they like we have the lunatic is on the grass as he's like dancing around, notably not on the grass. He's on the like yellow brick road, sadly.
Road.
If he was out in the field, this would have been perfect, but never mind. With all of his stuffing coming out of him. But anyway, he's going to tag along and get some brains from the wizard. I'm sure if he asks nicely, the wizard will give him some brains. And he says, I'll be a good companion because I'm not afraid of anything other than a lighted match, is how he puts it. A lighted match. Just, I would say it's lit. That's how I would say. But yeah,
I feel like you're the only person today across the whole world who said it's lit about an actual match.
I'd hope so. But yeah, so they head off down the road right as Pink Floyd sing "See You on the Dark Side of the Moon." So they're dancing away as the album is about to be dancing away. We're nearly at the end of the first playthrough. We have a scene that I often forget exists in the movie with the witches like hiding out in the woods, and they try and get some apples from some like animate trees, like the Ents of Wizard of Oz. Why is no one talking about these tree guys? What's their deal? They're just here to be dicks, I think. Like they get tricked into throwing their own apples at them, which is what they wanted in the first place. Like Scarecrow like sasses them into throwing the apples at them. But these guys are nasty. I guess if you're a tree, you don't have a lot of choice. You don't have a lot of agency most of the time.
Yeah.
And so
you're just old and stuck.
Yeah. Being able to talk in the land of Oz must be quite freeing. So maybe that's what it's about. But yeah, this is where they come across the Tin Man who's stuck in the woods. It's just this not iron, he's tin, James. Out in the woods is a robot man. And he's trying to talk as we go into Eclipse. And so they oil him up with a nearby oil can in order to get his lips moving and his arms and legs moving once more. And yeah, he tells us that he got caught in a rainstorm out here, and he rusted solid and was unable to move for goodness knows how long. And they say, well, now you're perfect now. And he says, oh, I'm not perfect. Bang on my chest if you think I'm perfect. And they do that, and they take a listen at his heart as we're having the heartbeats between the plays coming through, which is crazy.
Right? Oh, man. It's undeniable. Like, stop and listen, and the album stops, and you listen to heartbeats.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right here. Eclipse hits, like, as soon as, like, the final lines happen over him hitting his chest, and everyone leans in to listen as this heartbeat comes in. Bananas.
And they can't hear a heartbeat, so Pink Floyd are like, oh, don't worry, we've got you.
Yeah, man. So good. And then, we have his little version of the same song, If I Only Had a Heart. Or had the heart. Is it a heart or the heart? I'm not sure. Maybe it mixes it up.
To know. Yeah.
But he longs to have like a emotional human connection kind of thing. He feels like he's missing out part of the human experience, I guess. Interestingly, the whole thing with the apples in the tree is perhaps in the story proving that the Scarecrow does have a brain, because he's the one that comes up with the idea of them of like sassing the trees to get the apples thrown at them. That's all him. So maybe it's like these guys actually don't know that they already have these things, and it's just like cluing you in there. I don't know. Unclear.
Yeah. That's a weird one. Maybe like if there'd been a couple more scenes like it where they just had to deal with the fact that Oz is a bit of a weird place, it would make more sense. But because it's sort of the only one that's in there, you kind of just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Trees are dicks here.
Piss off, tree. But we have his song. He does like a Michael Jackson lean out here on the street. Just classic Tin Man moves. Him and Michael Jackson, I guess, both Tin Men. And he's going to come along too as we get into playthrough 2 and the breathe vocals coming in.
Famously, Michael Jackson doesn't play the Tin Man in The Wiz. He plays the Scarecrow.
Well,
rare miss.
Yeah, definitely. He should have seen that move and been like, I've already got all the skills. Maybe he auditioned and they put them in that role.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I don't know. He's got more of a Scarecrow aesthetic, though. I guess I don't really know. It's tough. It's weird putting myself in the position of casting director of The Wiz, I've got to say. I fell into that role immediately.
You just immediately like sat back and made a little pyramid of your fingers and like imagined headshots. Yeah.
Just looking at a big photograph of Michael Jackson and just labeling him Scarecrow. Savage as hell. Movie producer James. Musical producer James. Yeah. But we get a sudden and brief witch appearance here as we're at mid-breathe. She just rocks up to be like, man, Breathe is sick. She shoots a fireball at Scarecrow and then just bamps out of there. She's just here to be mean, I think.
Yeah.
It's great. Like, I think she's potentially like lying in wait to ambush Dorothy. But now that there's like two friends here along for the ride to protect her, and she's like, oh, I didn't know. Okay, I'll need to prepare other torches. I'll throw a fireball and then I'll run away. But yeah, as she gets out of there, when we go into On the Run, we race towards an early grave, go into On the Run, and Dorothy comments on these two boys seeming awfully familiar to her, and they're like, but you would have never have met us before. I've been hung up in that field for a long time. I've been rusted solid for a long time. And she's like, well, whatever. Yeah. Into the spooky forest for On the Run. A true Oogie Boogie, Gareth. With, background sounds are spooking our crew in the creepy forest. There's no like actual animals here. Later on, we'll have some scary animals, but we don't have them yet. But they're talking about what animals could exist in the forest. Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my.
Yeah. Forgot this was invented by this movie, by the way. This is
Really?
just a thing people say. Yeah.
Yeah, lions and tigers and bears. Oh my.
Oh my.
It's very much, it definitely has evolved past the zeitgeist of the movie, like Summer of the Rainbow, you know? It's just a saying.
Yeah. I would say it was the most, like, of the oh my's, it probably ran the oh my gambit all the way up until 2014 when Run the Jewels released Oh My Darling, which has that sample of, like, oh my.
Oh my.
And then, then we had two great oh my's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Took a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows when the next great oh my will come?
Another, like, 70 years from now or something. Oh my gosh.
Brought to you by Oh My Regulch.
Damn. Got there. So Toto, like, is running along, and suddenly a lion appears from the whole lions and tigers and bears. I'm sure there's a tiger and bear understudy also waiting in the wings if the lion failed here at becoming a friend.
They're like sprinting there, like, we can do it, we can make a friend. Then,
finally, no one comes in these woods. And he's like coming out here. He appears to be a big tough guy scaring the crew. Yeah. All the friends are very scared of this lion who's like, I'll take you both together. I'll fight you one-on-one. It's great. Mm-hmm. Just the way this guy speaks, Burt La is his actor name. Jack Haley, plays the Tin Man. And Burt La is the Cowardly Lion, who he's just got such an interesting way of speaking. I don't know where it's placed in America.
It's the Oz accent.
It is, I guess.
Yeah.
But he's just got this wild diction.
I would have assumed he was the most famous actor because he kind of gets the most like, this is me, this is my kind of thing.
He does.
That I do, and then he gets a second song.
He does get a second song. We'll get there.
But
we've got to have his first song first, and that's what we're having now. Yeah, because it proves that he he actually scared himself. Dorothy slaps him on the nose, and he like immediately bursts into tears, proving that he hasn't got any courage at all. I even scare myself, is what he says. I do love that he keeps dabbing his eyes with his tail as well. Yeah. Just like having his tail as a hanky is just such an inspired character choice. I love that.
This tail puppetry, by the way, is amazing.
Oh my god, yeah.
A lesser film would have just let that tail hang.
Yeah, there's someone in the background that's like fully in charge of this tail at all times. Yeah. And they'd put it in the work. This tail is flopping back and forth like crazy.
If you were related to the talesman of Wizard of Oz, let us know.
The talesman.
On the show.
Weave us your tale, talesman. He sings his song, his version. We've had If I Only Had a Brain, If I Only Had the Heart, or a heart. I can't remember which, sorry. But his is If I Only Had the Noive.
Yeah.
The classically pronounced nerve. I don't know. It's just such a wild voice. The Noive.
Yeah. The Noive.
Yeah. But yeah, he's going to come along and get his courage from the wizard. Yeah. And they set off skipping along through the woods off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Now, it's at this point in the story where, like, you know, all the table's completely set for the classic Wizard of Oz we all know. Mm-hmm. And I noticed something, that we have this, like, 10-year-old character. They get their little pet that gets, you know, that fights neighbors. And then they head out and they meet another mystical creature, take them along on their journey.
Yeah.
Another mystical creature and take them along on the journey. And then another completely different mystical journey. And it's at this point, I'm like, Wizard of Oz inspired Pokemon. So we have to bring back our classic segment. And this will be an awful question to spring on you out of nowhere. So I did prep you for this. And I hope you had a chance, because you're the expert on Pokemon.
Yeah.
What would Dorothy's Pokemon team be?
Some would say I'm a Pokemon master. character.
Whoa, the very best. Like no one ever was.
Like no one ever was. Yes, I have prepared a team. Of course I have. Why would I not? For Dorothy, as she's out here collecting them all, got to catch them all. The Oz members. But yeah, I did base her team off of the characters in Wizard of Oz because I thought that made the most sense, and her companions. But there aren't enough, notably.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So I've included the witch and a flying monkey as well.
Oh, yes.
Just because I can. So, yes, we've got Toto, her key companion, her main boy from the get-go, who's represented by Herdia, who's like a little terrier dog guy. He's a middle evolution of like a dog Pokemon from the 5th gen. He
essentially just looks exactly like him, right?
Exactly the same, yeah. He legitimately is Toto. So I think that one's fine. Scarecrow was tougher. There's not really many Scarecrow-like Pokemon. You'd be surprised. They haven't really like delved into that. Closest I came up with was Cacturn, who is like a cactus Pokemon who sort of looks like a Scarecrow. He's got like a hat and a creepy eye.
Yeah.
He's a little bit more threatening than our friendly Scarecrow, but there's not really any kind Scarecrow types.
No.
I considered Mimikyu for the role of Scarecrow, but Mimikyu's like even creepier, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's the ghost Pikachu kind of thing. Dressed as a Pikachu.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tin Man, I had a lot more options, but I settled on Bishop, who's also 5th gen. Who's like a big metal man with pointy arms. That's his whole deal. It's like, what if the Tin Man had swords for arms?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's the Tin Man because he's a metal man. Cowardly Lion. There's a few lion type Pokemon that I considered. Pyroar's the closest because I chose Pyroar mainly because Pyroar, I think their design is a bit sad looking. Like they aren't that like there's like Arcanine who's like I think like a big like powerful fire dog, you know?
Yeah.
Who could be like what an actual lion is like, and then there's a couple of other lion type looking Pokemon, but Pyro always kind of looked a bit like sad to me. So I was like, that's perfect there. We got the Wicked Witch, who's along for the ride on the team. She in this version, in the Pokemon version, she befriends the Wicked Witch and her monkeys.
And captures them
to bring them on the journey as powerful allies. We've got Miss Magius, who is like the clear witch choice for Pokemon.
Yes, big witch hat.
Big witch hat, big witch ghost energy. Very cool. Good stuff. And Flying Monkey, I don't know, I opted to have a Flying Monkey involved here because like the rest of the characters are a little bit tougher. I guess I could have gone with like Glenda the Good Witch, but I didn't really want to represent her on the team. I'd rather have a Flying Monkey.
Yeah, of course.
That said, there aren't a lot of flying monkey Pokemon. There are a lot of like monkey Pokemon. There's like Apom and who else? Mankey.
Yes, Primeape.
You know, yeah, those lads. But there's no real like flying ones, which was tough for me. I settled on Gligar to represent this guy who is like a bat. But is like a little mischievous like monkey boy. He's got his tongue sticking out. I don't know. He has the same energy as these flying monkeys to me.
Absolutely.
And eventually becoming Gliscor when he's like a big tough monkey guard or something. But yeah, that's the team. Herdia, Cacturn, Bishop, Pyroar, Miss Magius, and Gligar out here in Oz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The latest expansion for Pokemon coming at is the Oz one.
Some decent coverage on the team as well, actually. I think it'd probably be pretty usable.
Pokemon Ruby Slippers and Sapphire Slippers.
Sapphire Slippers. What do they do? They don't take you home. They take you to someone else's home. They put you in a new home.
Oh, man. Well, I hope all the listeners recovered from the, sharpest left turn I think we've ever made.
A short, sharp
Just
shock.
go deep into Pokemon.
Yeah, man.
But, it had to be done. It's the 100th movie.
Yep.
Gotta look
Gotta
back
bring them
on
back.
a segment that really could have been its own show initially, but we've buried it in our Pink Floyd podcast instead.
Yeah. Show within a show.
Mm.
Much like the witch is watching on her crystal ball here. She's surveying the scene, checking out the adventures of these people, this Pokemon team traversing the lands of Oz. And she's like, they've made it. They're nearly at Oz. We better get involved. And she's like, I'll take care of this, which I think is such a villain thing to say. It's like,
especially because she has been taking care of it.
Yeah. It's like,
no
who
one
else
is?
Yeah, who else is going to? And what have you been doing up until this point?
Yeah.
It's a very confusing thing to say, but it's great.
I love her assistant as well. This little flying monkey is just watching the magic orb as well. And it reminds me so much of when I'm at work and someone's computer isn't working and I'm just pretending to help. I'm just kind of leaning over it oh yeah, that's good. That's a good idea. Try that. Oh, it worked. Way to go, team.
Good stuff. Good work, everyone. I'll take care of this, is what you say.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Maybe the monkey was in charge of it up until that point and hadn't been doing anything. He's just been watching the whole time. But anyway.
His little face, his monkey mask is just stuck in such a happy little empty grin that I just can't help but relate.
They're so happy, all these lads, all the monkeys.
Yeah.
They're quite scary, but they are very happy. So they're living a good life in the land of Oz. I'll cover them more when we get to the witch's castle. But yeah.
Oh, yes.
Part of the plan here is a poisonous poppy field that will put the crew to sleep out here as we go into the time solo over these fields, which looks really good. The poppy fields before Oz out here, it's just like a really Pink Floyd-y, very surreal visual, You can see why people would be doing this in the cinema, putting these things together, just for these scenes in particular. They point out that the city's over on the horizon and start running towards it. But Dorothy starts feeling faint as we go back into Time's verse. Toto has already passed out, succumbing to poison slowly. And Dorothy feels faint and lies down in the flowers. Tin Man starts to cry and rust up. And the lion also starts wanting to pass out. I guess the two that are immune, the Tin Man presumably doesn't breathe as a Tin Man. I don't know. And neither does the Scarecrow, being an animate pile of straw.
Scary.
And so they are unaffected by this poppy poison. And they determine that this is some kind of magic spell and they don't know what to do. So they start screaming out for help, which works. They call out for help and Glinda the Good Witch appears through overlay over the screen. And does a bit of magic to change the weather to snow, makes it snow on them. And everyone wakes up over Time's tempo change. As soon as we get the change in tempo in the song Time at the end, just before Great Gig kicks in, is when people are waking back up, which is pretty nice. The snow unfortunately has rusted Tin Man in place, and so they save him with a bit more oil. But the witch is pissed off that her plan didn't work. She's didn't count on these friends helping out each other. They assume they'd just go on with their or not figure out a solution. So they very nearly did, but poisonous poppies. Something to think about in this movie. Pretty intense.
It is something to think about. It's also hard to be excited about the snow saving them because the snow is made of asbestos.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's a poisonous poppy, baby. You don't want that.
Yeah.
Don't be inhaling that.
Yeah.
Wasn't the paint that covered the Tin Man like full of lead as well? Like,
almost definitely. The latex mask on the Scarecrow left him with permanent lines on his face.
Holy hell.
Don't read the behind the scenes for this movie, folks. That's quite depressing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Movies. What a different time back in 1939. Gosh.
Oh, man. Yeah.
We've
100%.
learned a lot since then.
Yeah.
Man.
So now if people like complain about someone being CGI, it's just like, well, no one's left with permanent lines on their face.
Yeah, I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
Probably not having to put a man in a latex mask. Man, more for me. A lesson learned from the Wizard of Oz. There you go. Yes. Anyway, we hear the softly spoken magic spell at the end of time, as the spell itself has been broken. So I feel like that's potentially an anti-sync there in our perfect sync so far.
Yeah.
Because we ain't. I guess that they're potentially heading towards the magic spell, implying like the land of Oz and the Emerald City, right? That could be magic spell. I don't know. But I feel like if anything's an anti-sync so far, it's that.
Yeah, for sure.
But yes, they head off towards the city once more as we go into Great Gig. The witch also heads off on her broomstick. She's like, I better get to the city. I'll do it myself, sort of thing. Yeah, I'll take care of this, she says, and takes off on her broomstick. The crew make it to the city, and there's a very angry guardsman who is very familiar here. I love that this guy plays like most of the characters in the Emerald City. So good. What a good choice. He says that the doorbell is out of order, and so they should knock instead. He like puts a sign up, which is very confusing. A lot of this, like these jokes here, I feel like are very 1939.
Definitely.
And like are just very long and drawn out and very strange. I don't know. I feel like someone wrote them down and was really, really proud of them. And then they're like, yep, let's put them in the movie.
That's 100%. Yeah, that's a type of joke where you feel like someone wrote it down and is very proud of it. Yeah. And like I love those kind of jokes, but I think I know for a fact you don't. Like, I won't
I respect the joke.
Okay. I won't burn you by saying what show it is, but there is a semi-beloved recent sitcom that I know you don't like because you can feel the writers trying.
Yeah. I feel like I'm in the writer's room every time I watch said show. Yeah, that is a criticism I often have. Yeah, don't try and figure it out. Don't put me on blast. Oh, God. Cancelled on the last episode of my own show. Imagine. Yes, but unfortunately no one can get in to see the Great Oz. Why not? No one knows. He's gaslighting the whole population. But yes, they say, but we have proof that we've been sent by Glenda the Good Witch because she's wearing the ruby slippers. Dorothy's wearing the slippers. And they're like, oh, well, why didn't you say so? Come on in then. And then, they get pulled in a horse-drawn carriage through the town of Oz, or to the town of the Emerald City, I guess, with the horse of a different color. Because he says that's the horse of a different color, which I guess it is a saying. No
one can deny it is a saying.
Not worth drawing out a joke this long, I think. They painted. They sure did paint a horse 3 different colors for this. Like, I do like that it changes color every time they cut away. I think that they committed well to it, but it's just like probably not good for the horse.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
As they're painting the horse is like, so this is going to be a really good joke, right? Like, people are going to love this.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, this is all anyone's going to talk about Wizard of Oz.
And, like, no one remembers that it's a thing.
Yeah. I bet if you Google, like, Wizard of Oz colour, you're just going to get Pink Floyd's Any Colour You Like. All the films in colour. You're getting no horse.
Technicolor. Yeah. A film of a different color. But yeah, I guess it could have been like one of the first times they could even do a gag like this. So that's pretty cool, true. I suppose.
Yeah.
That's novel. We get a song here about laughing the day away in the merry old land of Oz. Which is, it's strange. Like, it's like the opening song to Beauty and the Beast in a weird way. Just like, doing our work and having a good time, laughing away the day, you know? And they get all like brushed up and presentable at this the Wash and Brush Up Co. To go and see the wizard. They get all like dolled up over the like not frightened of dying ad lib for some reason in the middle of a great gig. The Scarecrow gets restuffed with straw, and Tin Man gets like physically buffed up by like car buffers, I guess. Yeah, Dorothy and the Cowardly Lion just get like a full like mani-pedi, I think. But that's it. I kind of hate the Emerald City and everything that it represents. It's just such corporate BS, man. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Yeah. What I do love is that the lion's little bow is going to stay in his hair for the rest of the movie.
For the whole movie. Yeah, that's very good. He's found a new life for himself.
Yeah.
He's learning. But yes, as money comes back in, as we get the ching of money coming in, the witch reappears in the sky and does some quite complicated skywriting that says, surrender Dorothy, which is such a boss villain move. Like writing not like short words in smoke using your broomstick. Pretty impressive villain move. Love it. It's also like a double meaning because she could be saying like surrender Dorothy to me, to like the population of the city, but is also saying like surrender Dorothy, give up now. Like pretty great. What a smart message.
Wow.
But yeah, everyone like panics and runs away because the Wicked Witch is here. And they run up to try and see the advisor to the wizard who's at the door of the like big palace in the Emerald City, who's like, oh yeah, there's nothing to worry about. Don't worry about that witch. Everything's fine. But unfortunately, no one can see the wizard. Nobody can see him. Not nobody know how. They say that she is Dorothy, the witch is Dorothy, you know, that one. And so the guy goes to like announce the group to the wizard. He's like going off and doing that while we have a little interlude song, the second song from the Cowardly Lion about how he's going to be king of the forest. Which is great. We're getting the like sax solo and the money solo coming in. He's just singing about all the, like he's saying, prefixing his song about how everyone's going to show him respect as the true king of the animal kingdom once he gets his courage, you see. It's real just can't wait to be king energy.
It is, yeah.
I do love they like roll out a green carpet for him and like attach another like rug to him as like a big cape, and the Tin Man smashes a pot plant to create a crown. All very good stuff. All good.
They're such supportive friends. Like if I burst into song, I don't know if my mates are going to wreck someone else's pot plant and carpet
to create you a crown. Yeah. I do. My favorite one of these lines that he says here, he says, "What makes the muskrat guard his musk?" Courage.
What? What does that mean?
It's gross, whatever it means.
Yeah. Do we want to guard our musks? Is that what we're all not doing right?
If you're a muskrat, I would. It's in the name.
It separates the muskrats from the rats.
From the
Courage.
rats. It's the musk that makes us rise above.
Whoa.
There you go.
Yeah.
But sadly, this song was for nothing because the wizard comes... not the wizard, sorry. The advisor to the wizard comes back and says, go away! You can't come in. And so the journey was for nothing.
Yeah.
Dorothy collapses into tears and says that she'll never get a chance to go back and say that she's sorry to Auntie M, who is, of course, sick and dying after she's run away, for all she knows.
Yeah.
In her mind, she's feeling massive guilt about the whole thing. And the advisor is watching from this little, porthole in the door and is just crying, way too much. Someone's poured, a whole bucket of water onto this man's face.
Well, the tears are above his eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how sad this man is. He's got full projectile tears just coming out of his entire eye.
Yeah. He's crying himself sweaty. He's all over.
It's gross. But yeah, he begs her not to cry and he says, I'll get you in to see the wizard somehow. And so the doors ominously open as we tail out of money and go into Us and Them for another perfect sync on a scene transition.
Yeah.
Wild. Yeah, Us and Them as we are in this scary corridor going to see the wizard.
Scary songs for scary corridors.
Yeah. And yeah, we go into his chambers and we see the wizard himself, who is a big floating green head in some smoke in front of a church organ of pipes kind of looking thing. And big torches, sconces erupting in flames. He's got a great look, the wizard. He's got a whole thing going. Big and dramatic.
He's spent a long time building this look. Yeah.
He has. He's got the capital of the city behind him, and he is Oz the Great and Powerful, Gareth. He can do what he wants. Yes, they all cower before him and try to introduce themselves, but he cuts them off. He's sassing them directly, just throwing insults at them, being a nasty wizard. This guy's he's one of the bad wizards, but yes, insulting them, terrifying them, and the big floaty head says that the wizard has every intention of granting their requests, but they have to prove themselves. They've got to prove themselves worthy by retrieving the broomstick of the Wicked Witch of the West. Quite the feat. Pink Floyd do sing Black and Blue as part of this Us and Them sequence, and the smoke briefly is black and blue when they say that, so that's pretty cool.
That's wild,
there's a lot of flashing lights, and the smoke changes a bunch of different colors, but yeah, it is black and blue when Pink Floyd sing Black and Blue, so nice.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's the only reason they would have said that lyric. They wanted to say black and white, right? Until when they look over at their screen that's playing Wizard of Oz and have to be well, sorry guys, black and blue.
Yep, black and white. Who knows which is which and what is right? We can't use that anymore.
Back to the drawing board, boys.
Dang it. But he scares them off. The wizard scares the crew out of the room. The lion gets so scared he jumps through a window. Just out. He can't even make it through the long, ominous hallway. Just leaps straight through a window. So good. And then so they set off into back through the spooky forest in order to find the Wicked Witch's castle and get her broom. There's a terrifying face in the trees here. like a model. There's lots of like scary little faces embedded in trees, but there's one in particular that terrified me as a little kid. And there's a very delightful sign here saying that this is the haunted forest. There's a lot of information on this sign. It says haunted forest, witch's castle, 1 mile, and I'd turn back if I were you. It's like a sign addendum, which is very funny. It's like it's the saying for the haunted forest. Like, you know how there's like the town maxim that's printed on the town signs? It's haunted forest. I'd turn back if I were you. Welcome to scenic haunted forest.
Their tourism board really needs to have a second meeting on that side.
Yes, the witch is stoked by this turn of events. She's like, yes, come into my domain. She's watching on the little crystal ball, and she's like, sends out her flying monkey army after them. She says, fly, my pretties, and sends them out. And yeah, they like are zooming in very much like World War planes.
It looks terrifying.
Yeah, very scary. You just see them like coming in like bomber jets on the horizon. It's very scary.
And it's also that like big of us and them.
Yeah, them coming in and attacking is also very scary because they just like lift Dorothy off and capture her and Toto. And yeah, it's rough. They're like swarming in. There's hundreds of these dudes. The Scarecrow gets like literally torn apart and delivers one of the funniest lines. This delivery from the Scarecrow is possibly the best in the whole movie because he's like way too animated for his own good. He's like, first they tore my legs off and they threw them over there. And then they tore my chest off and they threw it over there. And it's like, all right, dude. Maybe relax.
Just don't lose your head about it next.
Oh my gosh. This guy. It's just,
and then it's matched by the best like little muttered, like whispered, thrown away joke from old Tin Man where it's like, well, that's you all over.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tasty wee joke that would just is like not at all dwelled on. Oh,
yeah,
good stuff.
It's like class because they all kind of get their big chuckle moments here, and like he was. It's like the classic New Zealand thing that if someone's trying too hard, you call them a try hard, and you've won. Mm-hmm. So by doing like a quieter joke, you've won.
So smart. What a guy. Yeah.
Apparently he was a bit of a meanie on set, though, because his makeup was the easiest. Well, like, probably poisonous. But, the easiest for him to get around. Yeah. So, like, during lunch, he could eat all the normal human food, and the poor, like, lion and Scarecrow were stuck eating, like, the simplest food to get past their, like, insane latex. So he'd just, like, sit in front of them eating, like, a sandwich or some soup or something and having a great time.
That's really mean.
Yeah.
If he only had a heart, Gareth, that behaviour would be beyond him, Gosh.
Method acting.
Just has to be a jerk. He's like, I'm sorry, I don't have a heart. But the lion wouldn't stand up to him because he didn't have the courage. And then Scarecrow couldn't think of any way to get back at him. So anyway. But they've got to put themselves back together and get out there to rescue Dorothy. And we see here in the witch's domain, her tower, Toto has been put in a picnic basket again, which I love that as like a duality thing. The idea that a witch has a picnic basket is great as well. Just for witch
Finally,
picnics.
I get to use this thing.
Yes. I don't know what it was for. It was my dog basket. Just a good little duality thing. Yes. So she uses Toto as, again, leverage to get what she wants. She wants to get the slippers. And she like tries to get them, but to like take them off of Dorothy's feet, but she can't because she's repelled by their magic with like the best special effect ever. It's like drawn directly onto the film, this like electricity that hits her. I'm pretty sure she goes like, when it hits her as well, which is great. But yeah, she can't even touch them. Just witch rules, I guess. Yeah. She's like, the slippers won't come off so long as Dorothy is alive. And it's at this point that she uses the like big hourglass telling her how long she has left to live. She's like, well, I'll come and get you when the hourglass is out. It's like a Widow of the Web move, you know, that classic that everyone knows. I'm not even going to explain it. If you've listened to 100 episodes of this show, you know what I'm talking about.
You're all about the Widow of the Web.
Yeah, rep the widow.
Like, all logic says this should be like a good crossover episode that anyone can jump in on, and we're like, no. 15 minutes devoted to Pokemon, the Widow of the Web.
Yep.
Yeah.
No explanation. Moving swiftly on. Toto, again, manages to escape the basket, very much like he did in Earth Realm. He managed to escape. And here in Oz, using the same method, his little dog lock-picking skills coming into play. And he escapes not only the basket, but the whole castle. He does like a heroic leap off of the drawbridge and escapes while being chased by monkey men. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Powerful dog. He's going to go get the friends to save the day. Yes. Dorothy, gets shown this hourglass, Widow of the Web, and is locked in the room and collapses down and starts crying, calling out to Auntie M, saying that she's frightened. And suddenly, on the witch's crystal ball, we see Auntie M on Earth. In black and white, just calling out and wondering where Dorothy is, hoping that she is safe. But Auntie M can't hear that Dorothy is calling out to her. It's very sad. Again, reinforcing this wanting to go back home, should never have run away mentality.
Very confusing for the rules of the film, though. And that if this is... spoiler, all a dream, then who's Auntie M talking to?
Don't know. I think it's just like a manifestation of guilt kind of thing, right? Like she's picturing Auntie M in that situation, but this is like she gets to see it in the witch's crystal ball, you know.
Yeah, that checks out. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because then, like, just on this note, like, with all these sequels and spin-offs like Return to Oz, Oz the Great and Powerful, 2013, Wicked, is it all still taking place in Dorothy's mind? Has she just got like this amazing deep dreams that people have made into Broadway sensations now?
Probably. I think so.
Okay.
That's how I would plant it. That makes the most... anything else makes less sense, I think, so...
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe like for every movie, people just go and visit this old woman in Kansas and ask her to tell them their most recent dream. And they walk back, make a picture.
They say, "Spin me your tale, talesman."
And she's like, "I dreamt the moon fell." And you're like, "We're going good one now."
All right, maybe. It's a mega structure.
I dreamt that Jane Fonda led a workout. Wow, all right.
Yeah, interesting, man. I can't think. I'm trying to think of another one, but these are the only recent ones of memory. You know, just those two. You know, that's all there was. There's only been 100 movies, so
yeah. We've always said every movie ever made.
Yeah,
and we've stuck to it. We've covered all 100 movies.
Yeah,
any other movie we've referenced has just been the dreams of a different old woman from Kansas.
Yeah, different old Kansas woman. Anything else just doesn't make as much sense. So
no, yeah.
Anyway.
You always think we're surprising each other when we choose these movies, but we both went on the field trip and visited the Kansas woman, and she gave us 100 films.
It's been a surprise to both of us this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And that's the reason we're retiring at 100. That was it. And she
the
said
Kansas grab bag. You should just stop speaking to us. She stopped replying to our email chain.
Yeah, if you know how to get in touch with old Dorothy, please let us know. We'll kick this back off.
Send us a text. Send us a text. I've never done that call to action before.
Yeah, and our phone numbers are.
Yeah. Floydpod@gmail.com. That makes the most sense. If you can somehow send a text to that, I'll be really impressed. Anyway, Toto makes a little heroic journey down the cliff. But a very strenuous journey for a tiny little real dog, going to find the boys and lead them up to Dorothy, who are also scaling the cliffs in the opposite direction. We get into brain damage kicking in as we approach the castle from below and look up at it, the witch's scary castle. And we have the guards down below doing their guard song, which is, again, synonymous with this movie, that whenever I imagine anyone guarding anything, in my head, I sing the song, oh, we, oh,
Yes.
Every time. It's just like, that's just how that is. That's the guard song, you know?
100%. Yeah, I love that song. Like,
yeah.
You don't need your long, long ding dong, the Wicked Witch is dead, or what makes the muskrat regard as musk. You just give us a whole movie of oh-wee-ohs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy.
I'm happy, you know? It's like the recent resurgence of sea shanties, you know, coming back into the cultural zeitgeist. You just need everyone to sing along and know the words, you know?
Yeah.
Get all the
lyrics
involved.
Are oh-wee-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to mess that one up. Good times. When we're down guard in the castle in the spooky forest. Yes. The lion plucks himself up all brave to get in there and save Dorothy. And as they move on to go in there, they get ambushed from behind by guards and have a sort of Scooby-Doo Looney Tunes fight, where it's just like a spiral of arms and things being thrown around from behind the rocks, which I quite like that they have.
Yeah.
And then, this is cut away to them all dressed in the guards' outfits. So they won.
Yeah.
The trio of Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Cowardly Lion defeated these armed guards. So good for them. I feel like Toto did most of the work, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Yeah, although we're going to learn somewhat soon that... In fact, we've completely skated over the terrifying fact that the Scarecrow has a gun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I forgot. Yeah. Yes.
My God.
When they came into the forest, sorry, yes, I forgot to mention this. Oh my God.
Me too.
They're all armed. They've prepared themselves in the Emerald City to go and hunt down the witch. The lion's got a big net, and I think the Tin Man has his axe and some other kind of weapon as well. And then the Scarecrow just has a gun.
Yeah. Like an earth gun. One of the ones
pistol.
not designed for hunting, for murdering.
For killing a man in the Wild West.
Cold, dead.
Wild. Love it. Where did he get it? What is going on in Oz, man? That they have guns. Incredible. Why is no one talking about it? I'm so glad we circled back to this. I completely spaced. Thank you.
Same, yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Because it's no doubt they beat these guards as they had, the Earth technology that was ruined Earth.
Yeah,
the
gun. Had a gun. Not only that, they had an axe and a big net. I think they were pretty well equipped, actually.
Yeah. Honestly, they could have stormed the castle no disguise.
Yeah. Damn, got there. Just take them all on. Get out, get dunked, monkey boys. But yeah, they sneak into the issue with our Uiul song, the Guardsman song, is that it is very easy to replicate and join in on if you're in disguise, if you're incognito as a guard. So that is the one downfall of that track, I must say, because the boys sure do sneak in behind the rest of them and get inside over the drawbridge. They run on in up the stairs to try and find Dorothy. They try and the Tin Man tries to like break down the door with his axe, but as they're running out of time on the hourglass here, unfortunately, but yeah, they managed to get the door down and reunited as we're in Eclipse, and they're running to get away. But the door slams behind them, and the witch has like cornered them here. And she's right here as the hourglass has run out, and so has the album. Right on, right here.
Yes.
Both playthrough 2, and poor Dorothy out of time. And yeah, the guards assemble and try and corner them, but Scarecrow drops a chandelier on them using the Tin Man's axe to like slice it down. Very good. Again, his idea. Nice stuff. Chases them. They get chased out of the room as we go into the heartbeats between the plays, and they're just like running along the like tower ramparts of the castle. They get cornered in this little like room together, flanked on either side. And yeah, the witch comes in to taunt them and says that, she'll, now that Dorothy has like been reunited with her friends, she's going to take them out. She'll be the last to die is what she says. She'll be killing all the friends in front of her, which is pretty rough. Yeah. Her first act of cruelty is to set the Scarecrow on fire once more. We've already seen her fireball magic. She uses it again. But since they're backed up into this little room, Dorothy, quickly thinking, moves to put the fire out by there's a nearby bucket of water, which is just sitting on a table here. The classic up in the tower bucket of water that you always have. You know, in case there's a fire breaking out in the castle.
Yeah.
You gotta wicked witch.
You know, nothing bad's going to come of having water in your own home. So yeah, have a bucket of water sitting on the table of your castle.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, not great for the witch. She gets hit by the water accidentally through no fault of Dorothy's and melts. One weakness, it turns out, getting hit by water. Melts away into the ground for a long time. Lots of screaming. However, this screaming does sync really well with Speak to Me coming back in and the screams aligning with that.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, very good. And
how do you find this surprise she melts if she gets wet? Because it's not set up in the slightest. Not
at all. Yeah. I feel like she should have turned down a glass of water somewhere earlier in the story.
Water? No, thanks.
No, I can't. I've got to get back to being evil. You know? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It needed some kind of setting up.
It's like Chekhov. It's, just an uncheck-off. You didn't check off that Chekhov gun, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. She's. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. It's good. Like it's fine. They really do need some way of defeating her. And the fact that it's something as weird and arcane as she is, I'm kind of on board with it. You know.
Yeah, and I guess it shows the film's not really about defeating a witch. It's about what they have to find themselves.
Yeah. Because the final act of this is great, and like. It is pretty wild that there's this big showdown here, like in the right at the end of like Act 2, I guess, or like we've got probably about like 20-ish minutes left of the movie, I think. But it's like It's cool that the like big final confrontation with the main villain, we've still got quite a bit to go, but because we've got like the lessons of the movie to come, you know? The villain's barely involved. She's just like a force of evil in their way.
Yeah, I'm for it. I kind of wish there'd been more of a setup, but then I'm also kind of, it's cool that it comes out of nowhere and it's so, as you said, brutal and screaming.
Yeah, it's interesting as well, because like in real life, in Dorothy's real life, the character Elmira isn't even, like, she's a villain, obviously, but she also doesn't matter. Like, the point is that she's like, there are going to be people in your life that are going to be nasty or evil, right?
Yes.
And they can be safely moved on from and ignored, you know? It's like, you just don't put up with those people in your life.
That's beautiful.
I feel like that's the lesson, you know? Yeah.
Oh, we've done it. All right. Oh, another film solved by us.
Good. Put it in the books. Yes. So we're getting our third playthrough. Breathe coming in here as there's nothing left of the witch but a hat and broomstick on the ground. Her guards immediately like turn coat as well. They're like, she's dead. Yeah. All hail Dorothy for like taking care of another wicked witch. They reprise the ding dong, the witch is dead as well, which is hilarious. They also know it. It's just a thing in this land that you sing this song. It's the witch death anthem.
Yeah. Again, maybe if there was nicer songs for the witches, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
But who's to say?
Who knows? But yes. So they immediately head back to the wizard with the witch's broomstick, their well-earned reward. And the wizard's like, you liquidated her, eh? That's how he puts it, which is like she's a fungible asset or something. So good. And he's like, no, well, go away and come back tomorrow. And Dorothy complains that she wants to go back home now. And the crew rally behind her after this adventure. And they're arguing with the wizard as Toto jumps out of Dorothy's arms and sneaks behind a curtain, pulling it back to reveal the true wizard at the controls of a machine. He's putting on this big show. He's the true Oz here. It's just a man. A showman, if you will. Yeah. And he was like misleading them that he was great and powerful, and misleading everyone in the Emerald City as well. He's just a man who found himself in a strange situation, much like Dorothy did, you know. Yeah. And everyone assumed that he was a wizard because of the nature of his arrival, and he just went along with that. You know? Because it got him a cool
he found some big head machine, and there he goes.
Yeah, you know how to make a big head machine sometimes, you know? Just part of your circus act, I don't know. But anyway, his lesson here, again, is he lies to all of the characters, or like tells like half-truths, in order for the greater good. He's like, he instead of giving each of the characters what they asked for, he gives them the confidence to believe in themselves, and like proving that they had what they were looking for all along, really, which is very clever. It's really well done. It's also really well written. He says things like, to the Scarecrow, he's like, anybody can have a brain. Where I'm from, there are universities where people come out and think great thoughts with no more brains than you have. And I'm like, man, speaking truth, truth to power to the university experience. He says, yes, but they have something you don't have, a diploma. And he gives him a diploma, like one of 3 that he has with him, which is hysterical. Yeah. He gives him a doctorate in thinkology. And the Scarecrow is very thrilled with this. He goes from here to the Lion, who is a victim of, he says, you're a victim of disorganized thinking. You say, you run away from danger. thinking that is cowardice, but you are in fact confusing cowardice with wisdom, which is great. He says he's met heroes with no more courage than he has, but they had something that he didn't have, a medal. And so he awards him the Triple Cross for outstanding valor and bravery, which is great. It's this enormous medal that just says courage on it, which is so good. And the Tin Man, he says, "You don't know how lucky you are for not having a heart. Hearts will never be practical until they can be made unbreakable," which is like, damn, what a line.
Do you think he only sent them away because he had to rehearse all these killer lines? Like,
maybe
he's not just pulling these out of nowhere.
These are so good. I love all of them. The fact that here he can't say philanthropists, he's just like stumbling over the world. He's like, where I'm from, there are there are good deed doers. But they have something you don't have, a testimonial, which is interesting. And he gives him a like heart-shaped locket thing, which is, he says, his final line to him is another banger line. He says, "A heart is not judged by how much you love, but how much you are loved by others," which is like, wow. God, that's a good line. And yeah, here when the Tin Man is getting his heart, I do want to point out, he comments that it ticks because there's a clock embedded into it. Unfortunately, we are in mid on the run here. We aren't in time. So
that would have felt so good.
It would have felt amazing if we were both references to the Tin Man's heart were in here, like with heartbeats and then with time coming in for the ticking. That would have been great. Like, but no, sadly not for this round. But that's okay. Dorothy, her problem is more difficult. She wants to get home to Kansas, and the wizard says the only way we can do that is for me to take you back myself. We do get the crash sound here, not really syncing with much other than the wizard explaining how he came to Oz. He arrived as part of a traveling carnival the hot air balloons for which were swept away by a big storm, and he has been preparing this balloon for a journey back home, and thankfully it is ready now in time for Dorothy to come along. And we cut here immediately to the whole city gathered, with the wizard giving like a public address to the whole of the Emerald City. And he says, yes, I'll be going on a journey into the outer stratosphere. And he puts the Scarecrow and the Tin Man and the Lion all in charge for their outstanding brains, heart, and courage until they return, which is great. It's so good. As they are making ready to leave, Toto spies a cat in the crowd. Cats canon in Oz? Who knew? I guess they've got lions, so it's fine. But there's like a Siamese cat being held by an Emerald City person. And Toto leaps off to go and attack it. And in the kerfuffle, everyone lets go of the rope, and the wizard's balloon flies off. And they're like, why don't you come back? Come back. And he says, I can't come back. I don't know how it works, which is great. He just is flying away, not understanding how a hot air balloon can get back down.
What a strange character, right? Like,
what a weird
You're not
guy.
going to make the wizard like this in any other movie.
Yeah. Thing is, there's not a lot of great ways to get a hot air balloon down.
Yeah, that's true.
Fun fact. Yeah, they sort of just like drift down where they do, you know? And you gotta align yourself. You gotta keep yourself up until you can land it safely in a safe area. Yeah, there are methods, obviously, like you can drop a rope once you're close enough to the ground to be like pulled to the correct place. But like, you know, it's still like a long time. There's no easy way to get down in the wizard's defense here. But yeah, bizarre that he's like a positive charlatan in a children's movie, you know?
Yeah.
What a good guy.
Yeah.
It's like him and the like magic beans guy in James and the Giant Peach come to mind. You know, they're like cut from the same cloth in my mind. So the wizard's gone, and now Dorothy's only way home has disappeared, and she begins to cry again because she's got no way home now. And all of her friends suggest that they stay with them. But she's too worried about her aunt and uncle and is feeling too guilty about that, about disappearing. We get Time's vocal coming back in as Glenda the Good Witch reappears in her magical bubble and floats down. One of the only remaining witches on Oz. We never see the Witch of the South, I will say.
Yeah.
Don't know what's going on with her.
I looked into that, and Glinda is actually the Witch of the South in the book and everything.
Oh.
And the real Witch of the North is a good witch who's just like an old lady.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I'm on board with that.
I know. I was all ready to be like, hey, what do you reckon the South Witch is like? And then I was just like, oh, okay. No, they've kind of nailed it.
Maybe the reveal would be that the Witch of the North is Arnie M. Like, it is a representation of her, like the exact same actress or something. That would be cool.
Yeah. You know? I wonder why. I think in some stage versions they're the same. Glinda and
Arnie M are the same. Yeah. That makes sense to me. But it's just not done in this for whatever reason. But yeah, she comes down and reveals that Dorothy had the power to get home whenever she wanted. But she had to learn her lesson first. And we're going to get into the lesson here. She says, if I ever go looking for my heart's desire again, I won't go further than my own backyard, because if it isn't there, then I've never really lost it to begin with. That's the moral of The Wizard of Oz, is don't dream big.
Yeah. Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Yeah. Don't run over the rainbow, because you might just miss the things that you have right now. Which I don't know if it's a great message. you know?
Like, you can still, like, chase your dreams and be in touch with your aunt and uncle.
Yeah.
We all have aunts and uncles.
It's like help out on the farm forever. It's like the reverse of Star Wars' moral.
Yeah.
You know? Hang out and farm moisture for the rest of your life, Dorothy. You know? I don't know. Yeah. It's so strange, but I don't know. I think it's possibly just times have changed since the moral of The Wizard of Oz was applicable.
100%. Like, chase your dreams is now, like, built into every film, every song, everything. Yeah.
We've got modern Oz taken over, you know? The new Oz of the modern films telling us how to live our lives much clearer.
I would love it, like a big movie like coming out, like a Pixar that just tells you like, yeah, go back to bed. And then do all your chores, please. Stop trying to make it as a singer. You're
give up on your dreams. Yeah.
You're a rat. You're not. Don't try to cook.
Yeah, and then like everyone at Pixar just quits. They just all give up, and the studio folds.
Whoa!
Tragic.
Just in a big performance art piece, and they just start a Pixar farm.
Oh no! The Pixar farm. Where they all
then,
grow
like,
those
over the
lamps.
next 25 years, these vegetables just get critically acclaimed.
Oh, yeah.
Like, man, this carrot has something for everyone. It's not just for the kids.
Pixar's Veggie Tales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spin us a veggie tail spinner.
Oh, God. But yeah, so she's learned this valuable lesson, and she gives a teary goodbye to everybody over the time solo. She says that she's going to miss the Scarecrow most of all, which is interesting. It's weird that she ranks her friends at the end. But fair play.
Out of nowhere.
I guess she's technically been with him the longest. So
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Fair enough.
Yeah. I guess like the implications that she's been there for a few days, I think she says at the end. So maybe during that walk that we don't see between meeting the scarecrow and the apples.
They had the whole apples thing, yeah.
Yeah, deep heart to heart. That, obviously the Tin Man can't get involved in.
Oh no. He's stonewalling you the whole trip.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Oh man. Whenever I'm like about to leave a job, like, move on to another job, I always catch myself choosing just a random person who I don't know at all and just be like, and I'll miss you of all. You most of all. And I never say it out loud, but one day I will.
That's really good. I think I'll miss you most of all.
Yeah, even if you're not leaving.
I might do the reverse of that and start writing that in everybody's like goodbye cards when they leave out my work. It's be like, I think I'll miss you most of all. And they're like, I'm the only one leaving.
Yeah. Well, I guess you're like now beating everyone else who's written in the card. You're like, no. I'll miss you most of all.
You're my favorite. It's really good. But yes, all she needed to do was click her heels 3 times and repeat the phrase, "There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home." Yeah, there we go. We have the tempo change in time as this happens. She clicks her heels and we have the house crashing back down and like overlaid over her, like focusing. And for the tempo change, as we return to black and white, Pink Floyd sing Home, Home Again when we crash back into the black and white world. And she's back home. Amazing. Dorothy tries to explain what happened on her trip. She's certain that it wasn't a dream that she had. It was a place, and all of the people in her life were there. She says, you were there, and you were there, and you were there. And we get into great gig for the wrap-up of the movie. She says, I kept saying to everyone, I want to go home, and they sent me home. Just like such a like thing to say after a dream, such a little kid way of saying things. It's very good. And yeah, the moral is put into sharp focus. Home is great. Home's the best. I'm never leaving home again. And we have the final lines. She's saying, I love you all, and Auntie M, there's no place like home. And we have the end. Yeah. Appearing on screen for the great gig vocal coming in. And that's the film for the 100th time, Gareth.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I'm very terrified, as you're about to ask me.
Yeah. What did you think and how did it sink?
Oh, boy. There's the human need to tell a story, The human need to find a story in something. And it's what's led this entire journey, the entire discovery of like this movie sinking with Dark Side of the Moon. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just the brain wants the two things to connect. It's just one day somebody watched them both at the same time, they connected them, and it's all gone wild since then. Yeah. And we find ourselves in a similar pattern. Like, this is the end. This is the wrap-up of our show. Yeah. I want there to be some sort of twist. Like, nah, it didn't sync well enough. It's actually a 2. Or, like, because we've learned so much. But we have to admit that it does sync very, very well.
Very well.
Yeah. And we're kind of, we don't get that beautiful bit of storytelling. It's a lot like real life, or like throwing water on a witch. Is sometimes there isn't a great setup and a way to tie it back together. Sometimes you've just melted a witch, and you've got to admit that's how we beat the witch. Yeah. So, I think we've got a 9 or a 10. What do you think?
I think we've got it. I don't think it's a perfect sync, I will say. No. I think there are like better experiences that we've had with syncing movies on our show. And you can see them all at Pink Floyd Pod on iTunes, Spotify, etc.
You can see that them in order on Letterboxd, Pink Floyd Pod. Or Pink Floyd.
But it was definitely good. I'm very happy with it as an experience, and it makes perfect sense to me that people do see an alignment in this movie with the album. It makes perfect sense to me. After watching it, I actually synced the movie twice to make sure.
Oh, yes,
once taking notes and once watching all the way through. As like a sort of like wrap up, just for me, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, it legitimately is a very enjoyable experience. And yeah, I was I don't think it's perfect, but I was very happy with it. So I think I'm happy giving it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like in terms of just an enjoyable watch, I think I would watch this again with Pink Floyd. And like just looking at our top 10, like I think Jaws I would probably just watch clean. Independence Day I'll probably watch with Pink Floyd. Cocoon I'd watch with Pink Floyd again, and March of the Penguins I definitely would watch again with Pink Floyd. So maybe it slots in just behind March of the Penguins.
Sure.
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, I love that. The other black and white movie that we watched.
Yeah. Oh, we can't beat that on that note. For all of you that have joined us on this adventure, like in any way, shape or form, you've listened to a couple minutes and gone, not for me, or you've stuck with it all the way through, or dipped in and out when you just recognized a movie, or dipped in and out when like you've just really had nothing else to do that day and felt like just chucking on this podcast. And we thank you. We thank you all. We thank the people who don't listen even. We thank the world.
Yeah.
And next week, we're going to just kind of, we've talked about how I'm staring now at a list. We've talked about graphs. We've talked about a lot of things. We're going to just take you home with what we've learned when it comes to syncing with Dark Side of the Moon next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be a fun little bit of dessert, little post-credit scene. Who's
a wrap-up and a refresh on Pink Floyd and the experience next week.
Yeah.
And
I'd like to sincerely thank you, James Barron, for being along for this ride. I couldn't have asked for a better co-host.
It's very nice.
It's James Barron, folks. And yeah.
Thank you, Gareth. I had a great time recording the show with you as well the whole time. It's good stuff. Good stuff. I wouldn't change it for the world. Just good vibes at the end of Pink Floyd. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, catch us next week for the wrap up. And the graph and all that, and some potentially some fun surprises. Definitely, write in with what you thought of the show, or the or if you've had a synced experience that you think we've missed, let us know. We might come back and do a special report someday. Who knows?
This isn't the end of us collaborating on something, James.
I'm sure. Yes.
Don't want to lose my access to having you have to yes and me. It's a powerful resource that I need.
Yes, an untapped vein that delves much deeper. Yes, Gareth.
Yes. Gosh. I'll just have to come out clean and say it, folks. I've been Gareth Blackler.
I've been James Barron.
And we'll see you on the dark side of the moon.
On the dark side of the moon. Yeah. Oh my.